friends, it's Willie. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. I'm going to do another drill and spill today. I don't usually do these as often as I have the past week, but I realized that I forgot to talk about kind of a major thing that has happened in my life, and I'm trying to avoid putting together a bookcase that was delivered a few days ago. So this is an avoidance tactic. I'm almost finished with the Aurora in her Not Pink dress kit that I showed you last week. And I started on this one a few days ago, and I've been working on it really madly today, which is Saturday, because again, I am trying to avoid putting together this bookcase because it's massive. They didn't follow my delivery directions, so I had to figure out how to get this really heavy thing that I could not lift to my entrance. So I was a little saucy and salty about it, and I've really been trying to avoid it. But so this is a little distraction here. I hope you'll forgive me. This is a kit that I started. I decided I wanted to do one of Diamond Grandma's events that is happening this month. It's called Tail Feathers. Or Tail Feather, Tail Feather, Tail Feathers. One of those two. 24. And it's any kind of bird picture. I had this one in my stash. It is called Cardinal Family. Hopefully you can see that. The design itself is 25 by 35 centimeters, and it has this blue border around it that is not drilled. It is a round kit. It is from Diamond Dots, and I believe I bought this through Walmart's website. They've had a series of Diamond Dots paintings that are $9.88 each. So that's where I bought this one. So let me start drilling, and I've got some show and tell as I chat. Let's see, where should I start? For a very long time, my two younger nieces have been telling me, let me take the cover off here. You're losing your hearing. I'm saying, no, I'm not. They said, yes, you are. I said, now there is a history of hearing loss in my father's family. My father and his three brothers all had hearing loss as they got older. Theirs could easily be attributed to the fact that they all worked in factory type settings. And, you know, back then, hearing protection wasn't a thing that happened in those environments. The thing that makes me believe that that's not the only reason is that my grandmother and my two aunts also suffered hearing loss as they got older. And none of them worked in those types of environments. My grandmother helped out on a farm and then raised children. She raised 7 children to adulthood. One died when she was about 10. One of my aunts worked in an office type setting as a sort of clerk typist receptionist kind of thing, and the other was a school teacher. So, you know, okay, schools could sometimes be considered a noisy environment, but I don't think back then, you know, kids were, you know, that was from the children should be seen and not heard era. So her hearing loss couldn't be blamed on her work environment. So I knew there was a history there, and there was a possibility that I would be affected by it at some point. But I've been careful over the years. I've gone to a lot of rock concerts in my day, but I usually, I would say about 90% of the time, I wore earplugs to cut down on the noise level. So I was very careful about that. And I haven't worked in any kind of factory setting. So there wasn't really any other environmental factors, I guess, that would have caused this. But again, there's hereditary there. So I knew it was probably going to come in some form at some point in my life. Well, it's been almost 2 years to the day. I switched jobs. Now, I've worked my entire adult life supporting adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. My previous job was sort of like a caseworker. I am not a social worker. I never referred to myself as that. I have friends who are social workers, and they don't like it when other people without the credentials use that title. Not a social worker, but a caseworker. I helped coordinate services for people. I supervised staff who did direct care with the people on my caseload, that sort of thing. 2 years ago, I changed jobs and I started working in day services, which, oh my gosh, I work 8 to 4 and the job doesn't follow me home. I don't get phone calls in the evenings. I don't get phone calls on the weekends. I don't get phone calls on holidays. With my previous gig, I have had phone calls while I was at Disney World. I have had phone calls on Christmas Day where I had to respond to a situation. None of that in day services. I love that. But it's a very different environment. Before, I worked in an office environment. Small office. I think there were 10 people in my division, and we were in our own office space away from the main company offices. So it was nice. It was very quiet. And you know, during lockdown, I primarily teleworked from home. So again, not noisy environments. I started working in day services, and things are changing where we've got more people out in the community all day long. But back then, they were just starting to kind of go back out on community outings. They had just reopened the building to in-person services, I think a couple of months before I started there. So most people came into the building during the morning time for the first hour or two that we were open. And it was really noisy. There were a lot of people, a lot of enthusiastic people who had things to say and tended to say them kind of loudly. And it was just, again, in the first thing in the morning and then in the afternoons when people were coming back from community outings and everybody was back in the building, it was loud. And I realized, I'm having trouble getting this drill, I realized that I was having trouble filtering somebody who was standing 2 or 3 feet away from me from the background noise. And that's something I was able to do before. And I was like, okay, maybe my nieces are on to something, but I wouldn't admit it to them. because they can be pompous little brats, okay? Well, they're not little brats. They're now, one is 50, about to turn 51, and the other is going to be 48 later this summer. So they're not little girls. I was very young when I became an auntie. But I was like, okay, maybe they're on to something. So I finally went to see an audiologist. There are several audiologists at the ENT practice, ear, nose, and throat practice, where I go. So I called and made an appointment to see one of their audiologists for a hearing test. And surprise, surprise, I have hearing loss. It's mild to moderate, so it's not terribly significant. She kind of showed me options for hearing correction, meaning hearing aids, and said, you know, if you're not interested in this now, you can just come back and see me every year and we'll keep an eye on it. And then if it starts to get worse, you can, you know, give it some consideration. Well, and she gave me information and pricing on the hearing aids. If you don't know, hearing aids are not cheap at all. And they come in different levels of functionality, depending on the kind of environment you're in and the kind of correction you might need. I decided that the ones that I would probably get the most use out of, or the best possible outcome with, were the ones that were $5,000. Well, I didn't just have $5,000 laying around, so I said, let me think about this. And then as the months went on, I realized more and more that I was really having trouble, primarily at work. Again, I could no longer filter out the background noise. And people were having to repeat. I was having to ask people to repeat themselves. I was shutting my doors to the door to my office to have a conversation with somebody. It was becoming more and more clear to me that I needed to do something. So I called the audiologist back. We made an appointment. More than 6 months had passed, so I had to do another hearing test. Fortunately, there was really no change between the two hearing tests that I had had. So apparently I'm not going downhill fast, which is good. I chose the hearing aids that I wanted. You can pick the color. There were about 8 colors to choose from for the case, which I was just, oh my gosh, choices. I didn't think I'd have choices like this. I almost went with a rose gold case, but I ended up going with basic black, because I figured black goes with everything. Now, when I'm wearing them, you really can't see them. My coworkers don't really know if I have them in or not because they can't see much of anything. I think if I have my hair back, you might be able to see them, but I have them here. Let me show you. No, I'm not wearing them. I tend to not wear them at home. This is the charger. One of the things I really like about these hearing aids is that they are charged through a USB plug. So I don't have to buy batteries. There the lights went on. This is the left. Hopefully, let me stand up so I can look in the camera. Hopefully you can see that. They're really small. This is the piece that goes behind the ear. Because I don't have a really significant hearing loss, I have these tips rather than a molded ear piece. And this is what my audiologist calls the tail. This kind of curves into the inside portion of my earlobe to kind of anchor it in place. But that's it. They're really simple. I do have 2 hearing aids because I do have bilateral hearing loss. The way you tell them apart is the right one has this red dot, right for red, red for right, RR. And there's, I don't know if I'll be able to point it out to you because the camera's not doing real well. But there are 2 microphones, and is that the microphones? There are 2 microphones in this, each of these. So when you see red, I'm sorry, because I've been diamond painting all day, my hands are a little cranky, but I keep going. I do take breaks every now and then to look at the bookcase, and I took all the pieces of the bookcase out of the packaging. And then the left one has a blue dot. The camera's not doing real well with this. There's a blue dot there. So that's how you tell the left from the right. So this is pretty compact. I have the charging cord in my bedroom because I kind of put them by my bed at night if I've worn them. Now, I wasn't wearing them for a while. Oh, and this is fun. Oh, it stopped blinking. When they're charging, the lights all blink. And in my dark bedroom, it's a little funky. I stopped wearing them very often because it felt like I was wearing earplugs. They didn't feel good in my ears. And I joined 2 hearing loss / hearing aid support groups on Facebook. And people said, don't worry, you'll get used to that. I didn't. So I stopped wearing them very often. And then I said, you know what? I need to make another appointment with the audiologist. These were the tips that I originally had. They're called Vented. But they felt really big in my ears. When I went back in to see her again, I said, do they make pediatric tips? Because maybe I need baby tips. And she said, like, oh my gosh, you should have come back to me so much sooner. We can take care of that. So she gave me these, which are called tulips. And they are kind of tulip shaped. That's an illustration of them. 8mm tulips. They felt really good when I first put them in at her office. And then by about 2 hours later, I was having a miserable time with them again. So I haven't been wearing them that often, and I need to go back and see her and see what else I might have as an option. One of the nice things about the price of the hearing aids is that it includes all of the follow-up that I need. So every time I need to go back and see Caitlin, my audiologist, that's covered by that $5,000. And I paid that $5,000 by taking some money out of my 403B retirement plan. I'm old enough that I can do that. And that's all I'll say about my age. But I am old enough to withdraw money out of that. Now, of course, I have to pay taxes on that because the 403B, like a 401k, is done pre-tax, and you pay taxes on it when you pull the money out. So I was able to pay for them. My insurance would have paid 25% of the cost of the hearing aids, but I had not yet met my deductible because I got them in February. So I had not yet met my deductible for the year. I think I need some more wax here in my pen. By the way, this is the pen that came with the kit. I like it because it's purple. And then it came with this green squishy. The wax is also purple, which I like. And I'm dropping things. So let me put some more wax in here, and maybe I'll pick these drills up a little bit better. So yeah, that's been my journey so far. I paid a lot of money for hearing aids that I don't wear that often, and I need to do something about that. I need to go back and see Miss Dr. Caitlin and see what our other options might be. The hearing aids do what they're supposed to do. They do help me filter out that background noise so I can hear the people in front of me better. I nearly cried the first day I wore them to work because I realized they were working. So that part is beautiful, but they just get really uncomfortable in my ears. And I find my ears itching a lot when I wear them. I have to pull them out and figure out how to scratch my ear canal. Now, I'm told that there are drops, like calming drops that you can get to help with that. So I've ordered some of those, hoping that'll make things more comfortable. If anybody watching this and listening has experience with hearing aids, I'd love to hear any tips or tricks that you have. If you've had any similar circumstances to what I'm talking about. This has not been as easy as I'd hoped it would be. But I'm not going to give up because I want the hearing correction. When she first said that I was a good candidate for hearing aids, actually wearing the hearing aids didn't bother me. I wear eyeglasses. I've worn eyeglasses since I was 19. So the concept of correcting something isn't new. It doesn't feel weird. What stopped me was the cost. And once I figured out that, hey, this is probably something you really should do, I worked it out to take out the money from my 403B. So that's not an issue. I want to wear them. I want them to work. So we'll see what happens. I've watched a lot of videos in preparation for getting them and for continuing to wear them. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the YouTube channel that I really, really like. It's an audiologist who is in Texas, I believe. He seems fairly young. But he and other audiologists from his practice do all sorts of videos related to hearing aids. Wearing them, taking care of them, different types of hearing aids that are available. Are prescription hearing aids better than the ones that you can buy, say, in Costco or from the internet? Yes, Costco does sell hearing aids. I gave it a thought. Then I gave it another thought because I wanted to have that prescription because I figured I didn't know enough to make the right choice for myself. And again, I've got the follow-up care built into the cost of the hearing aids. I don't know that you get that if you buy them elsewhere. And I feel really confident with my audiologist. She made me comfortable from the very first time that I met with her. I trust her. So that relationship means a lot to me, and I'm sure she will be a great help to me as I continue this journey. So that's what's been going on with me and my hearing aids. Oh, I've also watched videos on traveling with hearing aids because, I'm going on what have I called it? The Land Sea Land vacation early next year, where we're going to Disney World for a couple of days, then getting on a Disney cruise in Port Canaveral, and then coming back and doing a few more days at Disney World. So I've learned a little bit about traveling with hearing aids. I've learned a little bit about caring for the hearing aids when I do wear them. I take them out at night, wipe them down with a soft cloth before I put them in the charger, because wax does, earwax is a thing. Fortunately, I don't think I'm like a super producer or anything. I just kind of have a fairly normal level of earwax. I learned how my hearing aids have wax guards that keep wax from getting into the equipment. So I've got a supply of those and know how to replace those when need be. Usually, are you upside down? I think you're up. Yep, you were upside down. Sorry, folks. Squirrel. Shiny. Or in that case, not shiny enough. If you haven't diamond painted before, the round drills have a round top, and then the bottom of them is flat. You probably can't see this well in the camera. The bottom of the drill is flat so that it will adhere to the sticky canvas. And sometimes if you get them upside down, you can tell just by looking at them because the surfaces are very different. The top of the drill is a domed shape. And where was I? Oh, wax guards. So yeah, I'm hoping to get to the point where they feel comfortable enough that I want to wear them every day when I'm out and about in public. I really don't need them when I'm at home because, again, I live alone. I don't have any pets that make noise. Dust bunnies do not make a whole lot of noise typically. So I can control the sounds at home. I don't really need them at home. And I can just sit and have a one-on-one conversation with somebody at home, or even just talking with my friends if we're at one of their homes, and I don't need them for that. At least not yet. As things progress, as I get older, that may be a thing, but right now I don't need them every single day. And when I'm home by myself on the weekend, I typically don't use them because I don't need them. It's not a noisy environment at home. So people who want to fuss at me over that, deal with it. Let's see what else. Oh, another thing that I love about the hearing aids, even though I don't feel that they fit properly, is that they're Bluetooth enabled. So I can listen to stuff on my phone while I'm at work, and nobody else knows I'm listening to it because everything goes through the hearing aids. That's pretty cool. And there's also an app for the hearing aids, and it's pretty cool as well. It will tell me how many hours I wore them in a given day. I can control the volume and the Bluetooth from the app. And it has I haven't really discovered all of the features that it has, so that's pretty cool. We downloaded the app the day that I got the hearing aids. Caitlin kind of walked me through that process. So the Bluetooth capability, I think, is really nifty and very helpful. So I like that about them too. Modern hearing aids are really, really impressive. It's kind of amazing what they can do. And I'm really glad that I first needed them when all of this wonderful technology was available. And I can only imagine that it's going to get better over the years. I mentioned that my father had hearing loss. He was able to get hearing aids with the assistance of the Veterans Administration, the VA. He was a World War II veteran. And my parents had a kitty. Very old, very cranky, beautiful kitty. I called her the Ancient and Venerable Kitty. Her name was actually Sheba. My parents did not name her that. They adopted her from my oldest niece because the cat did not get along with her husband. But the Ancient and Venerable Kitty, she lived to be 22, which is why I referred to her that way. Shortly after he got his hearing aids, he had put them in the case and put them on top of a fairly high dresser, but he didn't close the case. And if you've ever loved a cat, you know, cats really enjoy doing gravity experiments. So apparently one night while he and Mom were asleep, the Ancient and Venerable One jumped up on the dresser, did her little gravity experiment, you know, where they go tap, 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 whack, and then they watch whatever it is fall to the ground. Gravity experiments. And when my mother got up that morning, she didn't realize that the Ancient and Venerable One had done her experiment, and she stepped on the hearing aid. So after that, Pop only had one functional hearing aid because he couldn't afford to replace it. I am putting a lot of these on upside down. It's because the lighting here sucks. So yeah, the cat did gravity experiments with one of my father's hearing aids. Which is why you always want to close the case when you put the hearing aids away. My Pop had the old style hearing aids that needed batteries. That's another thing that I like about my hearing aids is that they are rechargeable. So I don't need to deal with batteries. I don't have to worry about running out of batteries and having to, you know, go out and buy more. And or having Amazon deliver them to me the next day. All I have to do is put it on the charger. And they hold a charge for several days, which is pretty cool. So, you know, all things considered, I consider myself pretty fortunate to have the technology available to do what I need it to do. Again, I need to deal with the fit again. I must have like baby-sized ear canals or something. The rest of me is kind of large, but apparently not my ear canals. So anyway, I've probably talked for a while. I didn't put my timer on. Let me look at the camera real quick. How long have I been talking? Oh my goodness, 34 minutes, almost 35. So folks, thank you so much for spending some time with me and listening to me yammer on. about my hearing loss journey and my hearing aids, and just kind of watching me work on my cardinal family here. Again, this is an event that Diamond Grandma is holding. If you're a diamond painter and you have not checked out Diamond Grandma's channel, please run, do not walk. She is so much fun. She's such a sweetheart. She has monthly diamond painting events that will help you organize and clear out your stash if you want. Of course, I usually end up buying more things to meet the theme of a particular event. I haven't done any events for a long time, but she always partners with another diamond painting channel to do her events. She does lots of, she gets lots of promotional packages from different budget-friendly companies and shares them. When she does prizes for her events, I've watched people unbox the goodie boxes that she sends. She does really fabulous goodie boxes as prizes for her events, and she's just such a down-home, down-to-earth person. And I find it amusing to call her Diamond Grandma, because if I remember correctly, I'm about 10 years older than her. But that's what she calls herself on YouTube. So if I remember, I'll put a link to her channel in the description box, but you can just find her by looking for Diamond Grandma. She is one of a kind, and she is the only one on YouTube. So anyway, folks, thank you so much for spending time with me. There are so many channels out there, and I know you can spend your time watching lots of other people, so I am just tickled pink that you spent a little bit of time with me today. Please talk to me in the comments. I like seeing people chat, and I love chatting back with you. All right, I think we had one skip out of the boat there. Yep. I'm sorry, folks. I'm really distracted. I have a little bit of adult ADHD, I'm pretty sure. Not officially diagnosed, but hey, look, shiny. So again, thank you for spending time with me. Let me know, let's see, if you have any experience with hearing loss or hearing aids, or if someone you love and are close to has that sort of experience. Let me know if you are working on any diamond paintings for any events. Lots of people run events all throughout the year. I typically, if I'm going to participate in something, it'll be one of Diamond Grandma's, but she is one of any number of people out there who are doing diamond painting events throughout the year. And they're easy to find. There's a Facebook group for diamond painting events, and people see, this is why I use my tall boy. I shake these puppies up and they go flying everywhere. All right, I need to go get my tweezers to get that one out. So let me sum up here. If you do any diamond painting events, or if you're doing any now, let me know which one or ones you are doing, because I love hearing about what other people are up to. And just thank you so much again. If you have a diamond painting channel or a Disney channel or any other kind of YouTube channel, please tell me about it in the comments, because I'd love to come check out your channel and give it some love. So for now, friends, I'm going to sign off. I do have another Pin Me Up Wednesday video coming out in a few days. And I think there will be a return of the Tuesday Temu 12-step group. because I just got a Temu package in yesterday. I haven't been filming my latest hauls, but I got one that I want to unbox on camera. Unbag, excuse me. So anyway, I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Please take care of yourselves and try to find time every day to do something you love. Mwah! To all of you, take care, be well, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.